Good morning. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. We will start the session soon. 6 p.m. we will be starting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wait for some time. The
Good
speaker will
evening,
be.
sir.
Yeah, good evening. Sir is joining in another 2 minutes. I just spoke to him. He's a wonderful speaker, Nagesh Puttaswamy, and he is representing a very good company, and he's having enough knowledge on concrete. Today, his series. Sir is joining in.
हाँ फ्रेंड साहब
Sonika, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Okay, sir will be joining shortly.
Okay, sir.
Somebody should be in a position to. Power is competent enough to tackle this. No, it is not a question of competency, Mr. Sampati. It's a question of bandwidth initially to establish. ওদের কাছে কেন, সবার কাছে একটা বড় স্ট্যাটাস। তো ওই জন্য আমি বারবার
We are waiting for the speaker. Once he has joined, we will start the session.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I spoke to him on phone. He told he will be joining. Once he has joined, we will start the session. Request our audience to mute your mics, and if you have any questions, you can write in the chat box. Good evening. We will start in another 1 or 2 minutes. Just I am connected with the speaker. He is joining right now. Yes, Nagesh sir has joined successfully. Good evening, sir. Am
Good
my
evening.
voice audible to you, sir?
Yeah. It is audible. It is audible.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for joining in for the.
Sorry, I had some issue. I think my mail was corrupt or something. I could not log in with you the first ID that you had sent. The
Yes.
second one directly opened.
Okay, sir. Not an issue. Sometimes happens. It's actually the same ID only I given to all the audience. Sometimes
Yeah,
it happens.
yeah. It happens. Yeah,
This.
sure.
Good evening to everyone. This is Ashok Kumar on behalf of CMTI. I welcome everyone for the infrastructure lecture series. We thought of giving a small awareness session for the people who are looking for infrastructure as a career. So, eminent speakers from the industry are giving their knowledge, sharing their knowledge through this platform. And we have successfully completed 4 sessions. And the fifth session is with us, Mr. Nagesh Puttaswamy sir is there. He is expert in concrete and he is expert in rigid pavements and he is expert in a lot many things. You are going to learn from him lot of things and he is guest speaker with CMTI. And whenever I require any support, I immediately call him, and he definitely supports the CMTI students and the audience and all. Sir, today the people from infrastructure industry available, and our program is on live
Yes, sir.
in YouTube as well as the Zoom. Both the facilities are available, and my colleague Sonika is going to introduce you to the audience. After then, we will take up the session. Audience, this is a two continuous session. Today, sir is not able to complete entire topic what is given to him. Sir has requested. Two sessions. So next Saturday also sir is going to continue. So we will take you 1 hour on course. Audience request to mute your audio so that it will be helpful for others. Thank you. Sonika, please
Yes,
introduce
sir.
the speaker to the audience and we will start the session once sir is ready. Yeah.
Good evening to another present over here. Construction Management Training Institute welcomes you all for Infrastructure Lecture Series 5. Hope you all attended the previous sessions and gained knowledge from our experts. Today, we have one of the major leading experts in the industry, Dr. Nagesh Puttaswamy, Regional Head in Ultratech Cement Limited, Bangalore. I request participants to use the live chat box in YouTube. If there is any technical issues, we will resolve it. Kindly support the event to happen in a better way. E-certificates will be provided for the participants, those who are attending and filling the forms with proper email IDs. It will be delivered within 2 days. Feedback form will be posted in live chat for YouTube viewers. Our team will be helping you throughout the event, and the session will be uploaded in YouTube for the benefit of everyone. Do subscribe our channel. We have 250 plus knowledge videos in various domains of construction. Myself, Sonika, on behalf of CMTI, pleased to welcome our today's keynote speaker, Mr. Nagesh Puttaswamy. We welcome you, sir.
Thank
He
you.
completed his BE in Civil Engineering in the University of Mysore. He has 33 years of diverse and progressive experience in the field of civil engineering. He worked as a consultant for companies like Katuri Network Floriculture Division, MRF Ties, BPCL, etc. Presently, he is working as a zonal head white topping and R&D South India for Ultratech Cement Limited. He has 13 years of experience in cement and concrete industry. He has published papers in different journals at national and international level. He was a structural consultant for St. Mary's Church, Navanagar, Bagalkot, which was awarded ICI Karnataka Hubli Darbar Center Ultratech Outstanding Concrete Structure Institutional Building Section for the year 2007-8. He is an associate member in Institution of Engineers India and life member as a Indian Concrete Institute and also member in Indian Road Congress. His latest professional achievement was being as the in charge of training and mentoring of personnel for the White Topping Pilot Project at Kharagpur, West Bengal, along with IIT Kharagpur. We are so pleased to have you here, sir. It's over to you.
Uh,
Thank you, Sonika, for wonderful introduction. about the eminent personality with us. On this juncture, I would request participants to mute yourself at least for a hour, so that the other participants can listen to the speaker, and for the program it will be beneficial. Request to mute yourself, and if you have any issues you can use the chat box. Over to the speaker. Welcome, sir.
Uh, Thank you, and thank you for that nice introduction given. Uh, I would share my screen now. Uh, well,
Yes, sir, please. Yeah,
yeah, I hope it is visible now. I'll go into the.
visible, sir, it is visible.
Okay, that's fine. Uh, and I'm getting a box here. Yeah, I will minimize that also so that I will be able to talk about this. And see, infrastructure is one thing that uh, we all look at in diversified way. There is an infrastructure for uh, one is different, and infrastructure for other is different. When you look at infrastructure for the entire nation, it is on a different platform. Also, very important to note that the way the infrastructure is looked upon, the way the infrastructural development is taken up in any country today depends upon various things. And also today, in many developing countries and upcoming countries into the top league like India, we have a normal measure. The best of the infrastructure available in the country will ensure and will attract the best of the economics and the kind of business that can come into the various uh, inputs for that country's development. Well, that is what I will be talking about, and let us go further. So, why the basic requirement of or the basic requirements will civilize us, will always civilizes the society. Number one, employment. I am giving an illustration of a modern or a urban based illustration, but with the employment, whether it is in agriculture field or in rural area or in urban area, there is a chain of employment. If one employment is generated, not many know that there are several other employments as secondary employment will start coming in. Most of you students should have visited, because I follow CMTI very regularly on their Facebook and other things. When you go to a site, even in a remote place, when you get inside the site, or the main gate, opposite to that you see a tea stall. You see a tea stall. uh, just a minute. Uh, what happens is, I think somebody has got a control. There is
Excuse me, sir, excuse me, you just reshare your screen, I will find out who is the person.
yeah.
Yeah, you can reshare the screen. Audience, can you support the program? I have somebody is having a control.
Okay, just ignore that scribbling on the screen.
Yeah.
What you have is employment, the secondary employment, and probably there would be a tertiary employment also. This is what is determining the development and the necessity of development of infrastructure. I was talking to you students visiting a site. Just across the gate, across the road to this site, you would see one or two small tea stalls coming. Are they employed by the construction site or the construction company? No. But because the construction activity is going on, one person or a family got a source of income. That is how infrastructure grows. That is how infrastructures become very essential. And the second thing is, the most important thing, you often read in the today's newspapers, news channels, blogs, and other things. Food is another thing. The countries that have to import majority of their food are the worst hit in economics. So, And then once you have these comforts, the demand for growing up in the, I will do one thing, I'll
Sir, can you actually remove the
what I'll do is I will log out. I mean, sorry, I will
unshare the screen and please share.
yeah.
Hmm. Mr. Gauss, your mic is open. Mr. Gauss, Gauss, AMS College. Mr. Gauss, the people. Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, sir. Now,
1 minute, let me take up the screen once again. I'm getting into several other things. Hello.
yes,
Ashok,
yes, yes.
Ashok, Ashok sir, this is Somshakar from Ultratech.
Yeah.
You can just disable the annotation so that no one can write on the screen.
Sure, sir. I am just checking where it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I will try to do it. Thanks for your input, sir.
thank you, sir. Welcome. Hmm.
Sir, you can minimize the screen, sir.
Okay. Right now, what has happened is my,
PPT, your PPT has to come.
yeah, PPT has to come. I will just, I think the whole thing has gone from my screen now.
Not an issue, sir. We'll wait.
I hope now screen is visible, or I will share it all over again.
Sir, you need to share the screen, sir.
Okay. Oh, oh.
There is a bottom center share screen button is there.
No, I think I'll have to.
Can you try again, sir? Now? Are you able to see the share button? Hello? I think he has left. Huh? Yeah, sir is available.
Yeah. Okay. I think.
Now it is visible, sir.
Okay. Uh, what we have to do is, once there is a slight development of people, there is a slight comfort zone on the basic amenities and necessities required, education becomes a part. Education becomes a part, then healthcare becomes a part, then import or export or movement of goods become a part, and as the society grows, air traffic also grows in. But what we are forgetting here, we are looking at all these things in isolated way, but one important thing is there should be a road which connects our home to workplace, or to my farm, or to my hospital, or to my school, or to the transportation. So this would be the best opportunity. But basically I am not a transportation engineer. I got into concrete roads and white topping and all these things because I am more of a materials man working for Ultratech. And when I have a very bad habit of understanding things before I do something. So because of which I got into this uh, work. And I would say that whatever it is, in 2008 9, I started working with this very well-known professor, consultant, senior, and he's almost many of us have graduated by reading his books, and Dr. L.R. Kadiali, whatever I learned, and at least he is the one who opened up my mind to get inputs for these rigid pavements. Even though I started off with white topping, gradually I had to learn about concrete roads and the necessary things. So I dedicate this knowledge to Dr. L.R. Kadiali. Let me start by taking you all through a little bit of history. Uh, this is something that I always do. Whenever I talk about something, whenever I learn something, I'll try to understand the history of it so that I will understand in a better way how this technology evolved over a period of time. Because that is very essential, because when I am learning something, there might be something that has been already known and dumped because it was useless. So if I know the evolution, I know what to dump and what to take up. So, how are the roads? There are milestones. All of us Indians will have to be very, very proud of ourselves, because Indians are the first people who even thought about having a road, or at least geometrical design of a road, the intersections, the way the roads can be distributed within a city from village to village or a place to place. And the document of this is available in the Indus Valley Civilization 4000 BC. That is a thing that we all should look out for. And then you have England, which had a very crude way of road. They used to put wooden planks in the pathways wherever the chariot's wheel went, and these planks ensured that the chariots don't sink into the uh, clay soil of England. Then Italy came out, and we all know Italian roads. We, in fact, always say that should be the earliest part. Now, these two things would surprise many of the people, uh, that roads existed in India 3,000 years before Christ, and in England about 3,300 years or 4,000, like this. The progression went on. Of course, most durable roads were built by the Romans, because they started using the concrete of those days, the pozzolanic ash from the volcanoes mixed with horse hair and a little bit of calcareous material. So that is how we made there. But this is something that I have read, but I have been trying from past 15 years. There is not much of a document that is available which would substantiately say this was happening. But there is a document which says around 800 AD, there was roads that were sophisticated and similar to the bituminous roads of this in Baghdad of Iraq. Then all of us know the Bhishma Pitamaha of the engineered roads. Macadam Road came into being. Then maybe somewhere in 1824, the modern type of bituminous road came in. And somewhere in 1913, America started using cement concrete in road. 1913. By that time, the American senators had understood that they cannot go on having bituminous road, which needed replacement of the top surface periodically. So they wanted to have something longer and something which could resist the heat of the West American, like the California, and where the temperatures are quite high in summer. Then uh, they also went on to understand the advantages of a concrete road, and they also understood the economics of having a concrete road on a period of time. They thought about, what do I do with old roads? In initial stages, probably they were digging out the old bitumen road and building a concrete road. Thereby some uh, intelligent person, in many cases I would say people who think odd, which we popularly call them crackpots, right? One of those crackpots said, why not utilize the residual strength of the existing bitumen road and then have a concrete on top, so the wear and tear and new loads coming will come on the known material, and the bitumen will be a supporting member, thereby a hybrid of bitumen and the cement concrete came into being, which is white topping of roads. And somewhere in 1960s, even highways, national highways, were white topped in America. And gradually things are moving, but still, at least in India, we missed a bus for various reasons. I will take up that in my next few slides, uh, where we are still thinking bitumen versus concrete. Well, why? These were some statistics uh, that we have. These are the documented or the archaeological documentations that have substantiated the roads of this thing. This is one of the if you somebody has a sharp vision, you can see many of the places, even Napoli and all these places are still there in Italy. These were connected by similar roads, may not be the exact replica of what it was then is done today or today's was there, but the material was similar and their construction methodology was different. So in India also, we have been using concrete road for ages, at least from 1920s, 30s. In If you go to many cities or many areas where it was ruled by the erstwhile Maharajas, some of the roads they frequently used, they had made it out of concrete. I've seen this in Mysore. I have seen this in Bangalore. Mysore highway was once upon a time, when I was a kid, it was a concrete road, and parts of these roads are even today visible in Mysore city, in parts of the cities that come in between Mysore and Bangalore. If you go to the older part of the city, you can see, and these roads are still mentioned: MC Road, Madras Kannur Road. So um, this is the Marine Drive, or it is also called the Necklace Road, adjoining the sea. And almost till 2 years, this road had been maintenance free for over years. And as the traffic increased, there was a widening of this road required and all these things. So a couple of years ago, this was redone, and it is redone again in concrete. And other thing that we have adopted over a period of time, and quite um, good enough, aged enough to understand the things, is the Mumbai Pune Expressway. Now, this scenario, why concrete road took a back seat, or why concrete road did not take off from 1917, that is something that everybody is worried about. These are documents that are available even in the textbooks. One, the cost of new roads to be built. Yes, cost of new road to be built. That is the cost of constructing a concrete road, the cost of constructing a bituminous road. In earlier days, most of the engineering projects were done on the estimated cost only. Nobody bothered about how efficient the building is over a period of time, or a construction is over a period of time. It was what I spend now. So that was a question mark, because of various reasons, like cement was not so much produced in India in early independent days. Because of which cement was imported, that was expensive, and bitumen being a waste material of petroleum, or the lowest material of the petroleum products, it was available quite cheap. There was a huge exorbitant cost difference between cost of bitumen and concrete or cement, because of which various things also happened. And very important thing, that the government took the decision on bitumen because it could be easily imported, whereas cement was a thing that it was very expensive, and they wanted cement to be available for the other infrastructure being built, like bridges, like the dams that were built during the 5-year plan, where we were given emphasis on the agriculture and all these things. So that is went here, and this gradually led to a new thought process called cost of maintaining and keeping the road fit. So services came into picture, and gradually towards the end of, I'm talking about the Indian scenario, end of 1990s and early 2000s, people started thinking about life cycle cost of an infrastructure project. To build, to maintain it over a period of time, how much does it cost to me? On an alternate, even if I spend something more while building, by the end of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, the project is economical, or I go on putting money into it. So this is what it is. So there were two types of payments that were in choice. Let us say that 1917 is the earmarked line for the modern science, where roads, concrete roads or cement concrete roads came into picture. So at that time, the generalized third term that came into being is there are two types of payments. One is a flexible payment, and there is a rigid payment. The flexible payment, because it its behavior between being a flexible material, it allowed a certain amount of distortion. A certain amount means it is not visible, but it's at a minute scale, but it in fact yielded into a flexible behavior, whereas a rigid payment always offered resistance to the force coming in. The flexible payment went down with the load. As the load is released, like in a rubber, it came back into the place. So these were two types available, and the binding material in the flexible payment was bitumen, and in the cement, rigid payment, it was Portland cement. Now, in this entire series of lecture, I will not go back to flexible payment much, but I will talk about more about or absolutely in line with rigid payment. But there are some practices that has evolved over a period of time with the concrete roads and or the rigid payments, which are very nice to be adopted in all types of road. There, I do refer to them. uh, I said cost of lack of funds, availability of bitumen was simpler than cement. All these things, especially in those days, what you have to look out is for this. Very, very, very important is this. With not so skilled labor available, any defects in the construction process could have been easily redone in bitumen, whereas it was not possible with uh, the concrete road. Nowadays, there is a new concept that we have to look out for, because there are mechanically we have improved automobiles to such an extent. The trucks these days are carrying 3 to 4 times the load that the trucks of 30 years or 25 years ago was carrying. You know that the speed at which these vehicles moving are different. Those safety, the durability, the importance, there are so many vehicles on the road. Even if I want to do rebitumening of the road, especially in the highways, I have to close a particular lane, which is going to be very cumbersome process. Then looking at high design life, I mean, when I say design life, it is not only the actual core life of the building, but it also includes what do I do, because most of the bitumen roads need a overlay every 5 years. Every 5 years, and very often we may have to give a tack coat as and when the wear and tear changes. Then the demand for roads is so much that the government doesn't have money to invest on new roads, because mm, any budget you take on general, I have been observing for about 7 years, if x, or let us say 1 crore is the allotted for roads, about 35 to 40 crores go into, I mean, 35 to 40 lakhs will go into the repair of existing roads based on their importance. So what is happening? For some pressure, I built a road, I cannot maintain. At the end of 6 years, if I go back to the same road, I hardly see the road. Now, what do? I will have to redo the whole road. This is actually bleeding the exchequer of the government. So there is lack of resources, and people understood after seeing all these things, people understood that life cycle cost is a very important thing, and sustainability also have crept in, especially past 12 years. People are looking at the natural resources being depleted. Now, then what is the other energy efficiency? All these things have become talk of the town. Now, at this condition, we had to have a relook. Let me give a small input here. Uh, yes, it is my personal opinion, and it is some observation done by like-minded people. The faculty members here, please excuse, this is totally my personal opinion. It is not a general rule that everybody should think about this. Now, what has happened is, at least when I was doing my graduation about 35 years ago, not much emphasis was given on the teaching of concrete road design. We all learnt about it as a bypass, because in those days it was very, very, I mean, even 30 years ago, I'm talking of 1980s, where many of our teachers said it is hardly done in India because of exorbitant cost. So what happened? That got into the young brains sitting in the last bench. Like I was a very popular man in the institute, that I always used to sit down in the last bench in the classroom, and I was always on the stage when college fest came. So that is a life that has led me here, that I have opened my eyes to see a lot of things. So people like me said, if at all, if it is not being adopted since seriously, why should I learn about it? Anyway, out of 8 questions, I have to answer only 5. So these things came in when actually CC roads started creeping in. There was a huge set of elderly people like me who had either neglected learning CC roads or rigid pavements, or had forgotten what they learnt about it. So there was a gap. I became resistant to change from bitumen to CC. Because of all these things, the movement of CC road or rigid pavement in the society has slowed down. Yes, in those days, cement used to be very expensive. We will go through what it is. Concrete pavements offer cost effective. When I say cost effective, please don't misinterpret. It is not the cost of construction. It is the cost of this road over a period of 10 years. I'm not talking about the life of the road, or life of the 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, like that. The concrete roads have known to exist or be there without any problem for more than 45, 50 years. And very important thing, if water comes in, if a cracks develop in bitumen road, it has a tendency to yield to a pothole. Concrete road cracks till the bottom, may not generate a pothole until and unless somebody takes that chunk of concrete out from the pavement. And because it has got such a huge life, again and again, you need not put an overlay. It is highly sustainable on part of Mother Earth, because I'm not reusing aggregates, I'm not reusing bitumen to do the same work at the same place every 5 years. So it is sustainable. Then the design has improved. The way that we can handle our concrete has changed to such an extent. You want the road to be open tomorrow morning. Today we do all the things, we keep ready everything. Today we will cast the concrete. After 24 hours, you want the traffic to go on that. The concrete technologies today, including many professors sitting here, have the ability, and many professionals here have the ability to produce this kind of concrete. That is, the concrete that can yield a 4.5 MPa flexural strength. Again, for the students, this might look very, very surprising. When it comes to concrete pavement, we look at the flexural strength of concrete, not the compressive strength of concrete. So flexural strength of concrete being 4.5 MPa is what we have to achieve in 24 hours. And I am proud to say today's material scientists, material engineers have been able to do this consistently. Then it ensures that there is an optimum service risk, because with the way we are looking at the projects have changed. Somebody building a house little bit late after taking the site need not dig through the road. Today we have learned methodologies to ensure that people don't dig the road across, and maintaining of these roads are very, very easy. Typical, these are the sections. You can see here there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers of construction that goes into your bitumen pavement. And when it comes to the standard sections for a rigid pavement or a cement concrete pavement, it can be as simple as 3 layers. But what important is here is look at the drainage layer. It is important in both the pavements. Drainage layer is very important. Drainage is the worst enemy, or the moisture below the road surface accumulated, especially in the natural soil, is the worst enemy of a road's durability. Water is essential for construction, but water is a poison for any construction after the service life has begun. But what is happening here? The construction of rigid pavements, we have to move. We have to move, but there are several hurdles that has to be created, because the concrete roads have not seen an evolution. They had gone to a back seat, and suddenly somebody woke them up and said, come on, come on, your destination has come. I suddenly wake up, wipe my lips, and shake my head and get up. So that is the situation. Now, why we have to move towards? See, this is the scenario of monthly oil production in the month of 2019. You can see here, India is not in the picture at all. We have to import every gram of bitumen. And another important thing that we all have, because I believe in understanding the problem first and then look for a solution. Don't become a monkey to ape anybody. That is what many cases we are doing in India. We try to ape fashion, we are trying to ape the culture, we are trying to ape the behaviors of various things, and we get into trouble. Very important that you need to look at is the technology of the what you call the petroleum industry has improved so much. They are trying to reduce the bitumen because the others are more profitable for them, the production. So the refining technology, so there is one thing. One, the crude oil is reducing its production because we are exhausting them. Two, the technology is making less and less bitumen to be available after distillation of crude oil. There are two things that is going against us. This is actual figures from the OPEC organization. So you can see here, there was a peak that has happened somewhere in 2000, 2005. We went up to here. Whereas in this period, when we were not so very serious, we were projecting that our oil requirements are, I mean, oil production might go up to 120 projected. But the consumption rapidly increased, especially in the developing countries. Even poor countries started using more and more vehicles, thereby petroleum demand happened and the production could not match it. So there is a rapid fall of production. It is predicted somewhere around 2025 our oil production or oil availability will be the same as 1965. It is not that oil is not produced, oil will not be available. So we have to, and that is the reason there is an acceleration going on in understanding, constructing the concrete roads or the rigid pavement. So when it comes to rigid pavement, yes, these days, even though the history says a different story, these days, many countries have started adopting white topping also. Thereby, in rigid pavements, you have got two types of pavements. One is a regular concrete road or a regular CC pavement, and the second one is CC overlay over bitumen. Instead of redoing the whole uh, good road that is available and it has come due for your relaying of the road, go with cement concrete overlay. So these two technologies are available today. One is the regular concrete road and the CC overlay of a bitumen road. Uh, I will touch upon the CC overlay in my next lecture, where I am taking you in detail about a few things. Let us worry about the other aspects of it now. Now, very important, and what luckily has happened to pavement engineer is we are becoming a better planners of road. We are becoming a better planners of road. Why? There is a budget involved. We have understood if bitumen is uh, X, the cost of concrete road of an equivalent capacity, equivalent condition will be about 3.5 times more. Whereas if there is an existing bituminous road and I increase the strength and efficiency of this road, within 1.3x, I can redo the road, which will last for 35 years to 40 years and ensure that the money that would have gone in for various servicing would be available. And another thing that was always on the back of the mind in the earlier days and even today, what we face is, sir, if I have a bitumen road, I can put the bitumen concrete today and allow the traffic to in 2 hours or 3 hours, sir. But yes, on a conventional practice, the concrete road needs 30 days. But uh, I would say, as a concrete person, uh, right now it is we are not very well equipped on site condition to open the regular concrete road on a fast track mode, because whatever be my material science, whatever be my design skills, whatever be my supervisory skills, whatever be my equipment, ultimately labor working at field are not well equipped to understand this very complex material. Very complex material. Professor M.S. Shetty, another good friend of mine, who always says it is a um, he always says concrete is an enigmatic material. The more you feel that you have understood it, the more complex or the more hidden things will come out. So there, and we are now regularly opening up white topping roads between 7 to 14 days. I'm proud to say that recently we came up with an experiment, and the government also agreed. In Mysore district, many of the existing bitumen roads, district roads and some state highways, in especially in the city part, we are going in for white topping. So we have been able to work out around 7 to 14 days on a routine. We will be able to open the road, but on special cases with proper supervision, with proper quality care, we can even open it in 3 days. But let us say what happens to the cost of the road about 25 years. Now again, I will keep the bitumen road as X, because this includes after 25 years, means every 5 years it would have taken an overlay, which involves cost, which also involves use of aggregates, which also involves labor, escalation, everything. If that is X, the concrete road would take only half of it. That is a very conservative figure that we have worked out, thinking that because there is a road expansion and all these things happening, there might be some additional expenditures coming in sealing and all these things. Majority of the concrete roads, the maintenance is only in terms of sealing the joints and probably retexturing the surface. Uh, when it comes to semi-urban roads, white topping, I was always telling that there it will be about 1/5. Now let us see what are the essential, very essential thing that is in the present world with its fast uh, changing pace of society's lifestyle, everything, higher utility requirement across urban and rural. Like it or not, in every highway today, you find every fifth kilometer or 10th kilometer or 20th kilometer, you see a small, about 3 meter by 3.5 meter, uh, small room like structure coming in, which is nothing but the small inspection room that is set up to look after the communication cables that are going parallel to the road. So, what are going on? Many utilities, settlements, services are bound to come around the roads, highways that is being built. I like it or not, domestic electrical lines, communication lines, and some utilities will have to come parallel to the road, because I cannot have one more service road built only to look after them. In earlier days, we were doing this. If somebody goes towards Kanakapura from Bangalore, you have a service road built by BWSSP. Why is this road? Yes, no doubt some villagers are using it to go to their farms or agricultural land. But this road was built exclusively for engineers and the maintenance staff to go along the pipeline that is bringing water from Kanakpura, near Kanakpura, to Bangalore city. So only for inspection they had built a road. So, but these days things have changed. They try to put it very near to the highway itself, thereby things. And when it comes to urban scenario, things have changed. Even when I say urban scenario, don't just think cities. It could be a district headquarters or a taluka headquarters where the facilities are similar. They want Wi-Fi, they want internet connectivity, they want telephones, they have state-of-the-art cable TV network, they have very nice hospitals and these things coming up even in the smaller towns. So road priorities, as far as urban center is concerned, the pedestrians are coming first today, because the accidents on pedestrians is affecting the flow of road traffic to the highest in most of the developing countries. Then the cyclists, then comes the transit and the automobiles. That's how we are looking at these days. According to that, today an ideal thinking is going on this line. This is actually an urban centric detailing that we have done, but a similar kind of thought process has gone in even in terms of small places, because the roads have come up, many houses, the shopping centers or the shops have gone below. So even drainage is a very important thing even in a small taluka headquarters, because highway has gone up over a period of time. Now water drains out, so there should be a drain even in a village along with the highway. You, after leaving that village, you may not require the drain, you can allow it to go to the field, but in the village it is required. So there is a stormwater drain requirement, there is a separate line, independent line being thought of for cables. One, there are two kinds of cables. One, we have to have these technologies understood. The power are the cables that carry power lines or the electric power, and the cables that are carrying data in them. They do interfere with each other, so they have to be handled in separate ducts. This is how this is planning is going on today. So ultimately the drainage and other things will come in case of city. These two will come. You will have the gas lines and the municipal, all these are being planned today on either side. Why I said Nobody needs to dig across the road to give a water supply connection or a sanitary connection or to take in electricity. We are trying, and this is how things are being planned. And on a complexity, you know that multi-layer, people in many urban centers today are aware of this. They will have a metro or a flyover going in one level, you have a footpath at one level, you have a ground level traffic. These kind of things is making the road construction, the pavement construction very long. So let us come back to the, I mean, that is about all about planning, the way you can think about planning. But when it comes to rigid payment or any payment, this is very important. One is the design. Codes are available, data, many of which is available by direct or indirect sources, and there is established method of making a traffic survey, established methods, very well known methods. And there is a well-known methodology for analyzing these data that is collected, or survey data that is collected. And then we have to document all these things. Documentation doesn't end there. Documentation inside has got several things which I will come across. See, documentation of the data, documentation of the requirement, documentation of the soil, documentation of the geometry, and then coordination with various agencies, because no longer a highway is a highway only. Highway does have a certain utility going on adjacent to it. Suddenly there is a village, I want to take a deviation, suddenly there are accidents, I will encroach upon the, or I will notify and take charge of the adjacent land and widen my road, or I will have a small island created. I will have to coordinate with the other agencies who have their cables or power lines lying next to us. We will have to ask them to relocate them according to the profile. Then understanding the site, it is a common thing that every civil engineer should do. I should not land up in site after the work has started. I should start going to the site much before that, make observation, talk to people, all these things. Then comes equipment, and then comes material. Equipment and material are dependent on the first two things. Coordination, understanding the site, equipment is involved there, because based on the site condition, you may have to choose the equipment. Now you chose the equipment, your materials have to modify themselves for be suited for this equipment. So when it comes to concrete roads or overlays, or in general rigid pavement, don't this is not just for rigid pavement, it's a general category for all projects. Ashok would uh, agree with me. One is the administrative and documentation, which is very important, and documentation in the right way. I will say, especially in the urban scenario, I have faced problems when we are doing roads. We have found that the documents that is available with the agencies are different, and the position of the water supply line or the sanitary live sanitary line is something else. Many documents have not been updated. There are multiple documents that is available, so it is very important. One is drawing up the specification. Again, codes are available. Again, established methodology is available for this. Tendering, this is where something is going haywire as far as rigid payments is concerned, because rigid payment is an extended period of construction. There are some allied works that is coming along with this. I will come to those examples when, as and when I progress towards the methodology. But what is happening? For example, I will say, if I'm doing a concrete road, you know, the concrete stays wet and susceptible for imprint, footprints over a period of time, say 5 to 10 hours. At this time, I need to protect people from walking across, protect animals from walking across. So I need to have a barricade done. This barricade in many cases is forgotten to be an item in the tender document. Now, when actual construction starts, when the trouble starts coming in, the supervising engineer will say, put it across. Now that is not covered in the tender. The contractor refuses to do it. All these things are there. I start the construction work. Suddenly the cable fellow comes. No, no, no. To cater for this village, my cable has come from right side of the road to the left side of the road. Somewhere here we have put a pipe and we have taken it across. Now you have to locate that. All these interactions should be there. Then there is a pre-work inspection and planning to be done according to the site. This is after drawing up the specification, after drawing up everything. Based on the specification, what are the hurdles that I might face? What are the plan Bs that I should be ready with? Identification of problems, service lines, interaction with the telecom, electricity boards, all these will have to be there. And very important thing, we have to look at the traffic scenario and the traffic administration service, because they will be the one who will be knowing. In many cases, once you go out of a township or out of the um, human habitat, in majority of the cases, it's the local sheep herders, shepherds, or the local farmers who will give you the input. Sir, this road is very straight. People will come in very high speed. And there are a lot of accidents happening here. Sir, people will come in rainy days. The vehicle skids into my road or my farm. All these inputs come from there. This is what I have to look out for, and this is how I have to pre-plan my plan B. And then when it comes to concreting, there is a series of work. Again, I will tell you in detail about it. And you have to ensure that proper signages are given, proper protection is given, and also proper warning signals, especially the warning signals, because even in a city like Bangalore, very well educated people I have seen, they hold their mobile phone. There is a work going on, tape struck there, yellow tape, that is a red tape that is struck in multiple layers. They come, they lift this tape up and cross over, walk on the fresh concrete. This I have seen. So the civic sense is very poor in India. We will have to look out for this. And then when the actual concreting starts, there are some precautions taken. We have to understand where the concrete is manufactured, how long it takes to reach the place, what is the shortest duration, what is the longest duration it might take, and then allocating the work, right work for the right people. Don't just put work by seniority or just by the experience. You have to think whether that person is suitable for that job or he is efficient in that job, and then and the time and sequence of the work will have to be maintained. And very important in the paving work is the machinery that you are using. What is their limitation, how you have to feed concrete, what is the slump required, what is the uh, um, allied works related to that. All these things will have to be looked at. And I will request everybody, especially the youngsters, please learn all these things as a whole. Don't think that concreting, pre-concreting work is somebody else's job. I am only a designer. If you never design, if you are not taking care of all these things, if you are a person who is preparing document who will not mention all these things, it will not be a contractual obligation on part of the contractor to do all these things. So these are there. And post paving, there should be a verification of the error, possible error, right when the concrete is green, so that if at all something can be done, you have to redo it. And then there are some process like floating and texturing that has to be done in time. And today we are not at all relying only on water curing for concrete roads or rigid pavements. We are not at all relying. We are having alternate methods of concrete curing, which is called curing compound. You have to use only the wax based curing compound because they actually become an impervious layer, whereas there is a curing compound that is available, which is acrylic based. Acrylic actually seals off the surface pores of the concrete for a definite period of time and ensures that water is not evaporated. Well and good, but prolonged exposure to water, prolonged exposure to rain might dissolve the acryl that is there, and the concrete is exposed back. So this is something that we have to look out for. So verification of the error, curing compound, documentation of important issues, because please remember, concrete roads cannot be repaired like this. No, you have to plan everything, you have to bring equipment. Now suddenly while doing concreting you observed something, that has to be documented properly with the chainage, what problem, how did you handle the problem during the, and this should go into the permanent document which is available even well after I go. If my grandson or my grandchild or somebody of the two generation later come to repair this road, they should have a document which says, yes, this thing had happened here. That is very important in kind of then geotechnical investigation, nothing much to worry about this. If you know flexible payments, you are going to do this. And one thing that we have to look out for on all these things in when you are doing geotechnical investigation is the behavior of this payment is rigid. It is not flexible. It doesn't go down and come back as a spring. But so there are some regular thing. What you see here on the left hand side is a typical urban scenario. The old road was still here. This was expanded. When the extension took place, not much of soil investigations was done. Blindly the system was followed, and they found that there was a consolidation of soil happening, rutting appeared. And the other thing that could happen is in case of black cotton soils, you can have erosions happening. You might have to re-strengthen few things, and there could be a necessity of putting in duct lines across. So this is a close-up of the rutting that is happening. You can see here the road is intact. Suddenly on the other side, your road is not. So what has happened here is, unlike this road where the expansion has happened towards the shoulder, here the expansion is happening in the center. Probably this would have been an island in between two-way traffic, and they have reduced the island to a median, and they have occupied it. Again, the same mistake has happened as here, and you can see the rutting that is happening. So this is what all geotechnical people will say. It is arguably most complex material to understand. So you have to understand the geotechnology or the mechanics of the soil there based on your requirement of rigid pavement and the kind of loads that are coming in. Yes, there are established methods to evaluate the soil. There are established methods to analyze these evaluation, and there are established method of overcoming these problems. Typically, these are some pictures that I have got. I'm sharing with you. These are borehole details that normally we take it, especially in case of highways, we do this. And when it comes to hilly area, hilly roads, roads on the mountains, roads on hills, roads on the Malnad area, so-called Malnad area, there the problem is different. This soil there could be strong enough, but when you cut across for a road, there is water which would have been flowing on the surface of the soil gradually down the hill. Now you have cut it. Because you have cut, the water jumps from one level to other level and gains momentum and takes. And typically in those areas you also see what is this as landslide. So correspondingly, you will have to look at the slope at which the cutting has to be done, what is the soil inside the slope, and very important thing is you cannot stop water. So you have to make way for water to go across the road. These are things that have to go into the documentation, go in as an input to the designer, go in as an accessory designer, like I want a culvert, I want a cross drain, I want a surface drain, I want a stormwater drain. All these things will have to come in. These are typically the same thing is required even for a bituminous road. But only one catch here is you have to look at these data with the behavior of concrete road, not just as a pavement. Now, there are some very established methods that is available. Soil improvisation methods are very. There are chemical as well as natural way of stabilizing soil. There, apart from consolidation or rolling or compaction, you also have chemicals that can be added into the soil, make the soil harder, more impervious, give more reactive strength for the upper surfaces. And the stabilization of soil, these days we are trying to use a lot of fly ash and GGBS, or a combination of both, in the soil, so that more natural materials are going in, thereby the stabilized earth will give a better sub base for the road. And drainage beneath your pavement structure and the natural soil, very important. And many cases I have seen, they lay a filter bed, they lay a drainage layer, but the base of the drainage layer is not given enough slope for the water to run off from the drainage layer to the lower end. They will keep the base of the drainage layer also flat, top of the drainage layer also flat, and then construct the pavement. Water goes in, the drainage layer will actually become a reservoir of water. It becomes a reservoir of water. I have seen this very often in construction in the Malnad areas. I have seen people suffering because of this. Suddenly, one small patch of road is vanished. Why? Because of the construction of the road, the stream is passing across, which they overlooked, because majority of the Malnad roads or the hilly roads are built in summer season. They have overlooked that the water is scoring the soil below. So this is what happens. And there are methods to drain apart from giving a layer. In many cases, we do insert perforated geotextile wrapped pipes below the um, soil, to ensure that more and more water is taken away, but not the soil particles. And then we have to look at slope stabilization and retaining wall. Both, they have to be looked at, and they have to be a part of the construction of rigid pavement. I'll tell you, this will become more vital in case of rigid pavements than in case of bitumen pavement. Then very important is this one, subsoil stability, which is a normal thing, because it is a normal feature that all of us look at. I have put it at the end. Now, when it comes to urban scenario, you have got a lot of underground things. Now you have to look out for the electrical lines, you have to look out for communication lines, water supply lines, and the sewer lines. What is below the existing road, you have to know, because before you upgrade your road into a CC road or a white topping road. So what is that? For that, you need not dig open these days. You have got wonderful, very precise, very highly sensitive scanners that are available. You can see this one is something that we had used in Hyderabad and Chennai. This one is that is where we had used it. This will have a small gadget like this, which would be taken along in strips, which will sense, and this is how the scanned image come. You can see uh, it will give you what type of it would be a stormwater drain, and what is the depth of that. And other one will, I mean, you also get sanitary lines. And very important, in modern day softwares available for this, will tell you about a discarded sewer line, because as and when the utility grew up, they have gone for a larger diameter. There is a pipe which was being used and it is no longer used. That is also given by this. So that is there. Next one is administrative. You have got everything, all codal requirement, but only thing is you have to have a proper documentation. Let us go here. In case of tenders and document, Ashok, you can tell me wherever I have to stop, because I have not put a end slide today.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Not an issue, sir. You can stop appropriately. The rest of the thing we can take it up next week. Actually, one
Oh,
more session we have planned.
yeah, I know. Jyoti is coming in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
logical stop you can have.
Okay. Let me complete this documentation part and then we will put it to the next session.
Okay, sir.
So,
Fine, sir.
uh, in your specification document, number one, material to be used. Why I have put material to be used? Because that will lead to the type of equipments that you have to leave, adopt. And the secondary equipment that is required in case of bitumen road, rollers, pavers, end of it. But whereas in comes to concrete road, you have got scaffolding, you have got formwork, you have got curing compound sprayer, you have got water curing methodologies. All these equipment will have to come. So then who is liable? What are the liabilities of the contractor? Liabilities I'm adding at the beginning itself, because many um, things get missed out, and I have seen contracts going into dispute for a very long time. Then correspondence, I'll tell you, these are generally happens, but lot of perseverance is required. Every department takes the correspondence, puts it under the seat cushion and sit on it. They take it up only when they have funds, but here we have to be very careful. But once if it is managed, we had some roads that were built in Bangalore, what we called as tender for sure roads, when only one single agency had the responsibility of entire thing on that road. We ensured that nothing was left unturned. That is something. And traffic management, otherwise I'll tell you, this is what it happens. And I remember myself and one of my very close colleague, we used to be there in the site for days together, no going home, sleep in the mobile concrete lab, all these things. Our head used to be like this, because in the earlier days the document process did not include many things. Then interaction involved, again you have to look out for all the contractors. Then at that time there are codes that are available, which would give you fair idea of what it is there. uh, I will stop here, because from here the actual construction process starts. These are the documentations. uh, I would at the end of my second lecture I would make a PDF of this presentation, so that it would be a valid document for all of you people. uh, I would make a PDF of this, but I have a bad habit of not writing anything on the screen. I will not write on my PPT until and unless it is a very valid point. I don't write details on my PowerPoint slide, because of which you will have to remember what I talk, and probably the picture or the illustration there will take you back. Ashok, we will stop here, and back to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your wonderful time. And a lot of people gain their knowledge, and especially the students staying to us more. Nearly around 300 plus students attended, and they mentioned that it is an eye-opening session for them to know about the rigid payments regarding the costing and all. They didn't have much knowledge. You made a comparison statement graphically, and it was for them. It's a new for them. That's the feedback from the students and the audience who are available in the Zoom. You can speak. Students were available in our YouTube channel. Nearly 300 plus students attended. And audience, whoever available in Zoom, if you want to ask something from sir, you can. This is the right time. You can speak to him. You can unmute and you can speak. Otherwise, you can message. I can read the message on behalf of you. There are HODs available and working people, and then the students also there in the Zoom. Yeah, Bhavesh, Mr. Pradipta.
Hello, good evening,
Yeah.
sir. Hello.
Good
Yeah, yeah,
evening.
you can speak.
Yeah.
You can introduce and you can speak. Yeah, few audience. This thing we will take. Yeah, please.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Bhavesh.
Yeah, this is Bhavesh from Bombay, sir. I'm basically an execution. I worked for a residential sector site, but it was a great eye opener for me to understand the road concepts and all. So thank you, sir, for such a wonderful and a great session. And looking forward for the next Saturday to come soon, so that we can actually get the guidance from you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
It's a pleasure to share my knowledge always.
Hello, good evening. My name is Pradipta Kishore De. I am from Agartala, Tripura. I am in PWD building, Government of Tripura. Basically in building area, but interested in roadside also. So this webinar is a very good opportunity to know lots of information regarding road construction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Myself, Samiran Chanda. The seminar was very good, and main thing is that sir said about the documentation. Nowadays, so many supervision consultants are engaged for the road construction, for flexible pavement or the concrete pavement, but they are not properly documented. They not properly maintain the documentation, so that there are several types of difficulties faces by the client and client as well as the road users. This is the main problem that is highlighted by our sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, audience. Any other people want to speak?
Any questions for that
Hello.
matter?
Yeah.
Yes,
Somebody is raising.
Hello, I am
Yes,
Shibu
sir.
Chatterjee. I head the infrastructure out of my consultancy group, Anthea India. It was really a interesting presentation, and we are working on both urban as well as national highway projects.
Oh, fine, sir.
And whatever he has been telling us, Mr. Nagesh, has been one of the banes which we have been facing whenever we are working on an authority engineer or a supervision consultancy projects. What obviously needs to be understood is the documentation needs to be done as early as possible.
Yes, sir. That is something that is missing out, especially in India. We have multiple documents. That would be a headache for you inside.
Exactly. See, on urban projects, but we feel that the contractor, when he has been given that schedule B,
Yes.
against which he actually quotes,
Yeah.
is totally gone for a toss. While when he starts working on a project and new utility problems arise, and these are comparatively handled better for a flexible projects. But for a rigid project, as Nagesh ji rightly told, it needs to be planned early, because every time whenever you have to do, you have to remove that panel.
Yes.
And once that request for inspection is approved, it becomes a cost.
Absolutely,
And
sir.
then it becomes a bone of contention between the client and the contractor.
Yeah.
It was really a enchanting session. I would love to be a part of the next session as well.
Oh, thank you, sir. And because you're working in the highway segment, let us be in touch. Maybe you can send across your email ID and exchange my phone number through Ashok or directly also. Just
Great.
Google for Concroc just type Concroc Nagesh on Google, sir. You will get me complete details. We will be
Thanks,
in touch,
Nagesh ji.
sir.
I will do that.
Yes,
And
sir.
we would love to be interacting.
Yeah,
We are
continuously.
working pan-India projects, not just pan-India.
Yeah.
We are working on global projects as well. And this becomes a very interesting thing for all of us to go ahead.
Yes, sir. We will work together, sir. After all, we have
Thanks.
we owe something to our country.
Certainly.
Yes, sir.
Certainly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shibu. Any other audience would you like to speak, or can we conclude the session for today? Not this is a serious, and today.
Okay. What we will do is, if any questions are there and you have not been able to ask, what you can do is you can send a text or email to Ashok or CMTI. Thereby, we will take up this requirement in the next session. um, uh, and we will answer every possible thing, especially students. You have to prepare for something that is not you see every day in and day out. You can see road being built out of bitumen every now and then. And anybody who would like to wish and see this rigid pavement being constructed, I would request you through Ashok, you can always contact me. There are some good works going on within Bangalore city, and there are some works going on in Hassan district, some work going on in Mysore, and some works going on in South Canara and Udupi districts. I can coordinate for a site visit, but the only thing is you have to be at your own control of safety, because most of these work happen late evenings, especially in city life. You have to, I can arrange for a site visit. If it is in Bangalore, definitely I can come over and share the practical things that is happening there, explain you the things. Ashok, this is an offer for you also.
Sure, sir. Sure, definitely, sir. We would like to invite you for our new office. Definitely, once the COVID and other things comes down, we will take the full-fledged services.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, audience. Thanks, sir. Thanks, Nagesh, sir, for coming in and sharing your valuable weekend time with our students. And thanks for everyone. And we will meet you to next Saturday, 6 o'clock, again with Nagesh, sir. And he will be explaining about the technical details on the rigid pavements.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. I am signing out.
Bye.